Chapter 21, Mexican Army, 1984. Action must be taken at once. There is no time to be lost. Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla. Banish slavery forever. Along with social castes, we are equal. People may only be distinguished by vice or virtue. In the new laws, may torture not be allowed. José María Morelos y Pavón. "Sir, reporting for duty, sir!" I yelled loudly, saluting the young Mexican army officer. "What's your name, private?" yelled the pit-full-faced, lean and unfriendly drill sergeant. "Private Navarro, sir. My name is Private Navarro, sir. Reporting for duty, sir," I repeated, remembering the appropriate way to address an officer and how to report for duty. That's what they had told us during the Army recruits orientation anyway. But I thought it was funny, so I always said it with a smirk on my face. After I was sent to Tijuana to be hiding, Uncle Isidro suggested I join the Army to get military training. He thought that'd be good for me, and that the Mexican military was one of the organizations that were not corrupted in Mexico. The Mexican government, in a patriotic attempt to make it a powerful army, recruited volunteers, with the notion that there is nothing more powerful than the heart of a volunteer. The ranks were filled with poor but brave enlisted men, mostly school dropouts from humble socioeconomic backgrounds. This was a perpetuating tradition of how the Army had started when the Mexican independence broke off at the beginning of the 1800s. Freeze the story. Much like Jesus 2,000 years ago, getting in the temple, kicking tables and cracking a whip at the money changers, Mr. Cadena, my history teacher, opened his lesson with his usual dramatic fanfare, like a trial lawyer addressing an attentive jury. In 1810, a priest, just like Jesus, was sick and tired of the Spanish oppression against the people of Mexico. The students, as usual, were captivated by the dramatic performance in which Mr. Cadena delivered his lessons. He took our young and impressionable minds back in time. He brought these historic events to life. His rhetoric was relevant because our current oppressive government was still affecting our lives. "Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla," Cadena spoke with a booming voice, "the priest that led Mexican peasants with pitchforks, machetes, or anything they could turn into a weapon. Like Washington led the American independence from the British, Miguel Hidalgo, followed by another priest, José María Morelos y Pavón, started the Mexican War of Independence against the Spaniards. This war changed the course of history and the future of the great and noble people of Mexico," Mr. Cadenas finished. Stories like this had been imprinted in the hearts and minds of students who were fortunate to have been in this revolutionary scholars class. Uncle Isidro, on the other hand, was a different kind of revolutionary. He was not a man of books, but rather a man of action. He had proven it once and again. He was not afraid to speak up and back it up, even in the face of the barrel of a gun. Back to my story. "Mijo, you must join the army," Uncle Isidro said. "But Tio, why do I need to join?" "Los pelones," I retorted. "Soldiers' heads were shaved, and I didn't want to give up my long and full set of hair." "Yeah, I had hair once." "Because, mijo, you are 18, and this will make you a well-rounded warrior. You must learn all aspects of warfare," said Uncle Isidro conclusively. Much like previous oppressive governments, the Mexican Army had tailored this recruit volunteer program to get cheap recruits. It worked like this. When the one-year boot camp was completed, soldiers could earn a livable wage. Rookie privates had an opportunity to move up in rank and get a good social standing, This boot camp took place on the weekends, and the privates, to support themselves, needed a job during the week. On the other hand, if recruits didn't finish their assigned one-year boot camp, they didn't get la cartilla militar, a military clearance card. Without this document, much like the Social Security card in the US, young adults couldn't get a decent job and were not able to vote. Freeze's story. "Excuse me, teacher, how can a priest start a revolution? My mom says that like good Christians, priests are supposed to turn the other cheek and pray for their enemies," said Javier, trying to get a laugh from the other students. He loved messing with Mr. Cadena. Mexico was a tough crowd to convince when it came to religion. Catholicism was in the fabric of the individual, the family, and the community. So the history teacher had to be diplomatic when entering this sticky topic. Mr. Cadena smiled. "That's true, Javier. Priests and Christians are supposed to do that." However, Miguel Hidalgo posed the following question to his congregation. "Is it better to obey a tyrannical government or revolt against it?" "My mom says that we're supposed to pray for government officials." Was Miguel Hidalgo a real Christian? Javier questioned again, with a smirk on his face. "Let me ask you something, Javier," said the historian with the poise of a lawyer leading a witness to deeper waters. "If the police or city mayor or a government official ask you to give up your money, would you give it to them without complaining?" Back to my story. I came out of my deep thoughts and memories of my middle school history class. "I'm telling you guys, pay $50 US and you'll be exempt from coming every weekend to finish your boot camp," said the second lieutenant to a few of us Mexican Army recruits. "How does it work?" asked a private. The lieutenant smiled. "Simple. It's really simple. You get 20 of you guys to pay $50 each. I pay the general, and at the end of the year, you guys come back and get your draft card." "Can you give us a receipt or a guarantee so we don't get scammed?" I asked reluctantly. "Are you out of your mind, private?" yelled the offended officer. "This is under the table. This is a deal between honorable men. I'll keep my word. Can you keep yours?" concluded the lieutenant with a proud look. It was tempting, very tempting, especially when I had to work and go to school during the week, not to mention Friday night parties in Tijuana that lasted until at least 3 a.m. Then we had to go to the military compound by 4 a.m. Saturday morning, train all day and be released by 1800 hours. You know how it is. At 18, after boot camp on Saturday, testosterone and hormones gave me a second wind, so Saturday evening I went out again, all night. Tijuana was a happening place. There were all kinds of activities that were hard to resist. At the end of Saturday night's runarounds, up again at 4 a.m. Sunday morning to repeat the same military thing all over again. Freeze's story. "No, I don't think so, Mr. Cadena," Javier answered. "I don't think I could give up my paycheck to abusive authorities." "And why not, Javier? Why not? Aren't good Christians supposed to turn the other cheek and pray for the government?" said the teacher, knowing Javier was sinking deeper into his own argument. Javier wiggled in his seat, sensing he was being set up to challenge his religious beliefs. "Well, things change, teacher. When a wolf is dressed in sheep's clothing, my mom says we're supposed to fight evil men." "So you agree with how Miguel Hidalgo and Morelos felt? Do you agree that the sick and tired priests and oppressed Mexicans had the right and the duty to fight off the Spaniards and to claim their independence from centuries of European oppression?" the teacher concluded with a Socratic tone. "I guess," said Javier hesitantly. After the Mexican Independence War from Spain, California, New Mexico, and Texas, what is now known as the southwest of the U.S., became Mexican territory. Then, the Border Patrol of California was no longer the Spanish Navy. It was now La Migra, said Mr. Cadena. Back to my story. The Mexican Army used a lottery raffle system in which young Mexicans could be exempt from participating in this year boot camp. If candidates got a black ball, they were exempt from military service. If they got a white ball, they had to serve their weekly military training for 1 year. Guess what color ball I got? Yeah, I got the white ball. My army friends and I had to be at the military compound every weekend. But after a year, today was graduation day. Today, after 6 months of not showing up, yeah, we paid the bribe that guaranteed completion of our military service. There I was with my platoon of other 20 bribery-believing friends. We were in uniform, standing at attention. We were lined up with the other 800 participants who had been going every weekend. The other 800 participants that deserved to be there and deserved to get this honorable graduation. "Private Martinez!" called the general on the microphone. "Sir, reporting for duty, sir!" Martinez responded in the same way a first grader would answer the roll call. "Private Fernandez!" called the general on the microphone. "Sir, reporting for duty, sir!" answered Fernandez. And so I went. It was a lengthy process of a few hours, but more than a process, it was an event in which parents, friends, and family attended proudly to see their very own privates graduating from the Mexican Army recruitment. An event that held successful participants in high standing for their devotion, stamina, discipline, and honor to their families and their country. That's why I couldn't answer my Aunt Goodie's questions when she went proudly to see me graduate. "Why didn't they call your name, mijo?" asked my Aunt Goodie, who, along with my cousins, had gone to this prestigious ceremony to see their family represented by me. There must be an administration glitch, Aunt, but I'll fix it. I'll talk to the general," and I was coming up with as many excuses as fast as my lying mind could. "I know the captain, mijo. I can go talk to him right now," said Aunt Godelia. "No, tia, no. I'll take care of this. If you go, they'll think I didn't learn the lessons of honor and discipline that I learned all this year." "I'll do it, tia. I'm a grown man. I'll handle my own stuff," I said with the best impersonation of a proud young private. Did I get my military card? No. Instead, I moved to the U.S.
Juan, Colorado me llaman, soy señores de Michoacán. Ya están los más salidones al mirarme, muchos se van. Que es de cuero, plata y marfil. Y 2 pistolas al cinto para que entre el rendir. Que viva mi tierra, Michoacán, y déme charanda para brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya está aquí, montado en su cuaco en huracán. Cuando me encuentro resuelto que de frente quiera pelear, machete por mi suerte yo he de ganar. Que viva mi tierra, Michoacán, y déme charanda para brindar. Que Juan Colorado ya se va, montado en su cuaco en huracán.